And I know that there's a lot out there right now that wants to steal and destroy your joy. But if you listen closely, there is a familiar voice that's leading us to green pastures and still waters. And it's the voice of Jesus. It's the voice that reminds us that we're not in this alone. That even though we walk through dark valleys, we're going to fear no evil, for he's with us. Now, some of you know those dark valleys more than others. For those are the words of a parent who's lost a child, or a couple who's lost a house to a fire, a parent who's waiting for a prodigal son or daughter to come home, a spouse that feels betrayed, a child who's been abandoned, maybe a loved one who's battling COVID or personally fighting through cancer. That's your enemy. And I want you to know that the Lord is providing a table for you, even in the midst of it all. And if we're being honest today, I will admit that I don't always understand God's timing. And sometimes it's in the trenches of dark valleys that I'm more confused of God's timing than at others. But what I'm learning through all of this season of our life together is that it's not so much about us figuring out God's timing as it is getting to know the God that is with us in this dark valley. You see, friends, we can trust the shepherd even when we don't understand the path of the good shepherd is leading us. The psalmist tells us that he leads us in the right path for his name's sake. It reminds us that God's integrity and honor is wrapped up in the leading of his people down the right road. Jesus says, I am the good shepherd, the good shepherd that will lay down his life for his people. Jesus serves the lost sheep, he heals the lost sheep, and he leads the lost sheep out of darkness and back into the light of love and forgiveness. And Jesus not only crossed paths with the shadow of death, but he went through death itself. The shepherd became the wounded lamb who took away the sins of the world. And I want you to hear me when I say this. If we ever find ourselves as lost sheep traveling through dark places, we can have the confidence of the good shepherd to lead us back home. If we ever find ourselves surrounded by enemies that seem to overpower us, we can have the confidence of God, the host who will set a table of protection and provision. I want us to trust God and who will shepherd us through these dark days and these dark places. So I want to ask, what area of your life do you need to trust God with today?